A screw is a mechanism that converts rotational motion to linear motion, and a torque, rotational force, to a linear force. It is one of the 6 classical simple machines. The most common form consists of a cylindrical shaft with helical grooves or ridges called threads around the outside. The video you're watching now demonstrates a screw conveyor. This uses a rotational helical screw blade to remove bulk materials, or in this case, snow, from the cutting edge of the ice auger.
The origin of the screw is one that is not completely agreed upon. Many give credits to Archimedes, who is said to have invented the screw in the 5th century BC as a means of pressing olives and grapes. However, some say that Archimedes developed the screw in the 3rd century BC when he constructed a screw mechanism from wood which raised water from a lower to a higher position. This design became known as the Archimedes screw and is still used today for irrigation. Some believe that it may have originated later in the 1st or 2nd century BC by the Greeks, who used the screw mechanism for pressing clothing. One of the reasons the exact origin is not concrete is because screws were not frequently used in the early days due to the meticulous process of constructing them out of wood and carving them by hand. Metal screws were not introduced until the 15th century, and the process remained difficult until the 18th century when Henry Maudslay invented the screw cutting lathe, which mass-produced screws. Interestingly, this mechanism utilized a screw to construct other screws. Although there are many theories as to when the first screw was utilized by man, it has been used in the animal kingdom for over 100 million years. It was recently discovered that the hips of weevils have screw mechanisms, each comprised of a spiral-shaped tip to the leg and a threaded coxa. The 2 body parts screw together to allow for greater rotation than the ball and joint or hinged hip allows.
Screws as simple machines have several distinct advantages. For example, worm gears are gears that are designed so that the worm or screw can easily turn the gear, but the gear cannot turn the worm. This type of gear can transfer motion in 90 degrees. They are the preferred type of gear system when space is limited and large gear reduction is needed. Worm gears can be used to either reduce speed or to increase torque. They are also the quietest and smoothest of all the gear systems. Screws, when used as fasteners, have strong pull-out power, meaning that it is very difficult to pull a screw out of the material that it has been driven into. However, for framing and structural applications, nails are used due to their better shear strength, meaning they are less likely to snap. Screws are the best choice of fastener when it comes to things like electronics. Smartphones and computers use tiny screws to fasten their delicate components together. For example, the motherboard in a computer, which is the main circuit board that connects all the components together, is typically secured to the case by several small screws. These fasteners are ideal because they are small but very strong and can be removed if the computer needs repair.
To summarize, the screw takes a rotational motion and turns it into a linear motion. It is used in everyday household items, such as this apple peeler and a corkscrew. Screws are also used in some not-so-everyday items, such as these old torture devices, which allows you to apply so much force that it actually crushes heads and other various body parts.
I feel like I got my head in a vice.
Screws can be used to lift, to fasten various items, and of course to drill holes.